To the Ohio Business Spotlight, and we're throwing you a curveball today because we don't have an Ohio business with us. We have a young man that I met on a mission trip that I went on recently in South Africa, and him and I bonded and got to develop a relationship. And he told me about his business. His business is in Minnesota, so today I guess we're the Minnesota Business Spotlight. I want to welcome to the show Austin, owner of AD Clearview Window Cleaning. Welcome aboard, Austin.
Hey, how's it going, man?
Man, it's going great. It's good to see you.
Yeah, you too. Like we just got off the phone. It felt like we just got off the plane coming back from South Africa.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you, so let me get this started for everybody here. I kind of want everybody to know what you do. We had a series, Austin, about 2 or 3 months ago. Actually, my son was on it because my son is like you. He's a young man and he owns his own business. And I don't know if you had a college degree, but he didn't want to go to college. He simply didn't want to go to college. And what we found, we had a bunch of other business owners on the show at the same time that were just like him. We had one that was in a plumbing business, we had one that was in landscaping, we had one that was in a contracting business, and one that was in a painting business. And there's just so many young men and young women out there that probably want to choose the path that you took, but they're scared to death to do it. And when we bring folks like you on this show, I think that you can help them overcome that hurdle, that fear of getting into business. So tell everybody what you do and how you got started. Give me a little snippet of what your story is, brother.
Yeah, I went to like a technical college for power lineman. My dream was to be a power lineman, uh, to work for utilities or a co-op, and it took some time to get into a school, and then I finally got into the school, and then part time. We obviously I graduated from there, and then I got onto a contracting power line contracting job, and we only worked Monday to Thursday. And with me, I'm a go getter. I don't like sitting around and stuff. So we worked Thursday. We would come back home, away on the road, and I'd have Friday, Saturday open, right? And my grandpa's buddy, his name was Rick, and he did windows on the side, like just his retirement side gig. And I started, I helped him out, and all of a sudden, it just like I really enjoyed it. And he was kind of more old school with not a lot of like just the equipment, but he had a knowledge, and he taught me so well. And from there, I just kind of really enjoyed it. And then all of a sudden, we talked about him kind of retiring from that, because just with his knees, and just it's a lot of hard work, a lot of ladder climbing, and just on your knees. You got to get into like those windows that are at the basement, so you got to, you got obstacles and roof like whatever. And yeah, and then I kind of just got on, and I just kind of took off and did started doing my own on the side. And then all of a sudden I was just like, wow, I think I can see this in a career. And he was like, would you want to take over when I'm done? And I was just like, absolutely. And then with me during the winter, that was just like side gig. And once winter came, I kind of just studied a lot of it. And I'm the guy that I'm not afraid to call people, like call other window cleaners like down south and all sorts of stuff like that. And all of a sudden, I got the lowdown on like the better equipment. I got all the like the belt, the better squeegees and better rubber, better everything, and ladders. And I just picked up on the upcoming season. All of a sudden, I just kind of got the hang of it. There was some like things I had to adjust as you go, every day you learn. From Greg, probably, when he was an insurance guy, there was just every day, every year, you learn more things and just easier ways to do things, and just pick up on starting on that side of the house instead of that side of the house, and just the sun. It's a lot of things that you don't think about until, like Greg says, like it kind of comes at you and you're like, wow, like now I have to adjust from that to that.
Well, I hear, so you're saying something very similar. It's really cool. The business owners, no matter what age, no matter what they do, whether they're in technology, whether they're in contracting like you do, being a contractor, whether they own a big business, a small business, you said one of the things that doesn't surprise me. It's the reason that you become successful is you were not afraid to ask other people that were successful. You were kind of willing to stand on their shoulders and glean some information from them and said you sought it. You looked out for that information, right?
Yeah, and and a lot of businesses like will give you that. Like I have people that ask me that are even local around, like, hey, what do you do here? Like I legitimately tell them, and to be honest, like it's not a like I feel like a lot of some people are afraid to ask, and like when you don't don't ask, you won't get the answer. And like if you ask, you'll get the answer that will open up many answers, that one
Um,
question. So it's just like,
you
you know,
hit the nail on the head. I'm so happy to hear that. It doesn't surprise me because there's so many common threads in what people do. So let me ask you this question right here. Jumping from a job that you went to school for, a technical school for, there had to be a little bit of security in the fact that, okay, I know I'm working Monday through Thursday, and you picked up the side hustle. All of a sudden, one day, you realized it's all on me. If I want a paycheck, I've got to show up and I've got to get my own work and I've got to take care of my existing work. That can be paralyzing to a lot of people and it will stop a lot of people from going in business because they'll go, oh, I lost the security blanket. What was the moment like for you when you realized you lost the security blanket of the Monday through Thursday job that you went to school for? What was that feeling like when you all of a sudden, man, if I don't get out there and make it happen, it's not going to happen?
yeah, like you're right, and like that's definitely when you have to put your shoes on and start door knocking, or like you just gotta take the jobs that you get, even when they're really tough, or you
Mhm.
know, if you don't get the right like pay, you might, you know, you just um, the jobs that you get, like you might as well take them because that's your paycheck, and you don't get paid if you don't work, right? And like especially now these days, like life is expensive and stuff, and yeah, you got to work to pay the bills, and like, but once you start getting that, customers coming in, it's like, okay, like sometimes you don't even think, like you just, the word of mouth is big when you do a good job and put your time into it, and like honestly making sure that the customer is happy before you leave. Like there's no shortcuts, and you know like you said, like the word of mouth, like like the elderlies that have coffee in the morning, like they'll say, hey, like I've got a lot of feedback from a lot of elderlies. There's just couples that were saying, hey, today I had my windows cleaned, and then that one other friend of theirs are like, by who? And then like you just get that referral, and it leads to more and more and more.
Well, it sounds like you do something incredibly smart, and I think a lot of business owners are afraid to do this right here. It sounds like you communicate well with your customer. It sounds like you ask them for feedback, even though you might be opening yourself up to, man, what if they don't dig what I did? What if they're unhappy about it?
Hmm.
But you ask for it and you get the feedback that you want. I mean, it sounds like that's pretty important, right?
Yeah, like I said, like they're paying whatever they're paying, and like I just want to have leave that house at 100%, even though they look amazing. I always make sure, hey, that little one little mistake could cost you, like, without checking, but like making sure that touching base, that's the biggest thing. Just keeping in touch with your customers and making sure, because at the end of the day, like you want that customer back, and like, that he can they can bring you more. And like I just
You're,
always like to communicate and making sure that they're at the top where they're like the windows or
yeah.
whatever business I'm doing there.
You ever get feedback that you weren't expecting?
No, not at the moment. Like, not really. I just there would be like some little things that we had a miscommunication, like another window, or like, or like a screen that we didn't do, and that wasn't in the bid, and it's just explaining, like, hey, like there's a we didn't or I didn't hear that right, or miscommunication, but next time I'll add that for free, or just because that for that one clean, like we've missed that, or I missed that, and just miscommunication. But
Yeah. Well, let me ask this right here. So, you have to wear a lot of hats as a business owner. I
yeah,
mean, if it happens inside of AD Clearview window cleaning, if it happens, Austin's got to do it. And all these hats that you have to wear, a lot of times a business owner will get overwhelmed because you're the one who has to do the bids.
yep,
You're the one who has to do the job.
yep,
You're the one who has got to keep the books. You're the one who's got to do marketing if he feels like your business is slipping. How do you manage all of those hats? And as you were growing over 2 years, is there any of them that tripped you up that you kind of thought, oh man, and you really learned? Because I can just see a lot of young business owners where they're one man shows like you are get tripped up. Is there anything that tripped you up? What's one of the hats you've had to wear that you were like, man, I was not counting on this right here?
yeah. Like the books, honestly. Like the first year, I did it more by myself, and like I didn't use a technology, or like a software. That's what I was trying to say. Like a software, like QuickBooks. And like the first year, I was more like trying to do it on my own, and just because, financial, like, it's another expense, right? And like, but once I got, yeah, the first, like for the first year and the second year when I started using QuickBooks, that was really a big saver. And just to have manage it more, like having QuickBooks is just more organized, and like
Mhm.
from doing it by myself, doing the windows, the ads, and everything on my own, and like the books keeping, and like all on my own. That was kind of a headache, because you were having long nights. You're up at until midnight, 1 o'clock, and organizing those things for the next day or the next week. And then having QuickBooks, it's just this year is just a lot more organized, and just having the like all my receipts, all my like mileage, and all my expenses, all my invoices, estimates, it's all right there, and I don't have to have like legitly. I had my first year, I had my room. I had my bedroom at my parents at the time. I had my office, my bedroom, papers everywhere on the ground, sorted out, and like it was awesome. But like now, I don't have I don't have that. Like it's
Yeah.
just more in a software, and I can just type a name, and it comes up. And like there, I had to like go and find it, like find like that name, or that customer, or that receipt, or like that invoice. Like, yeah.
So, what would you tell somebody that right now, look back? I want you to look back about 2.5 years ago when you're only doing this as a side hustle, because you have no idea how many young men, young women are out there right now doing something as a side hustle, but they can't overcome that fear to go, I know I can do this full time. I know I can bet on myself, but man, I just can't pull the trigger. What would you say if you were talking to a young entrepreneur, what that was at that point? What advice would you give them to help them pull the trigger on their full time gig?
honestly ask questions with like business owners that are in there for 5 to 10 or 15 years, and ask them like, hey, what would you do to get going? And like, and a lot of them I took the risk because I just had low expenses. I was living at my parents at the time, so I didn't have like a house payment. I didn't have I had rent, but like a little bit of rent, but like make sure you have all your ducks in a row before you quit your job, because like, and then when you start making, start doing your side hustle and like making money, just have enough, make sure you have enough clientele before you quit your other job, because sometimes like you can have a lot of clientele and also it'll drop, and like, and just make sure that you have all your advertising, and have like all your like I said, ducks in a row to
How do
have
you
that next
Yeah,
row.
how do you decide? So there's so many, let's talk advertising because everybody
Yeah,
thinks, well, I've got to market this business right
yeah.
here, right? There's so many different ways that you can do it. How do you decide, man, do I want to pull the trigger on this right here and write this check and maybe not get any return? How did you make the decision to how you were going to market what you do?
Honestly, I just started with my Facebook. Like I have a Facebook page, business Facebook page, and I don't have a website yet because my word of mouth. Like in my area, there's not a lot of window cleaners, and I'd say probably there's not just me, but there's probably like there's probably like three actual business owners for sure that off on the top of my head that's around here. But there's just so many people around here in my area that it's pretty easy, the word of mouth, to say, hey, like a Facebook page, to get a lot of people to share it. And like when you share it with the community, and once you do one person, they're gonna see it. And like I say, or every time I have a customer that I don't know, I'm like, how did you hear from me? And they say, oh, from so and so, or I seen your Facebook page. And I definitely like that, because like then I know like where my advertising is coming from. Then I can focus more on the place that I haven't had my advertising at. Like say like I did like an ad in the newspaper and nothing's coming from the newspaper. I'll pull that away and then focus more on my Facebook page, where I'm getting more ads and leads, and post more videos or pictures of like my work, or and stuff like that,
Well, I tell you, you're talking about kind of elementary stuff. I always find when I would consult with business owners, especially young, new business owners, everybody thinks that the struggle is in the high level, incredibly complicated. And what I oftentimes find is it's something very elementary. I call it business 101. You just said something that is so easy that a lot of people wouldn't think of. Hey, every new customer I get, hey, how'd you hear about us? That's a pretty simple way to start determining how I'm going to track, where I spend my marketing dollars. It's always something simple. You talk to your customers, you ask them after every, it's almost like they're giving you a review right on the spot, right?
Yeah, and like the biggest thing too, like I even like during the winter seasons when it's very slow, I even still contact some and say, "Hey, how's it going?" And just being more like, I'm not just like there for the season. I'm like there all year round. I'm just making sure like, "Hey, how are you doing?" Like I'm just checking up on you, and just those little things really help move you to that next level of like, hey, this guy's like, I know a guy, and just to keep them in your mind, and just spread their or my name out to other customers that are looking when they're ready. Say a lot of some people that don't have like thinking of having their windows cleaned, but then eventually they start having their windows cleaned. Like, who do I contact? And then
Right.
hey, I have this guy, and then I have this guy, or like, I have this plumber, I have this window cleaner, I have this electrician, like, so it's that's where like I just stay in contact a lot, and I give other businesses referrals too. Like, say like I have a guy, so a good buddy of mine, and his name is Dylan with Pulse for Pressure Pro, and me and him don't work for each other. We work for each other. Or let me rewind that. Sorry about that. We work for ourselves, but we work together on jobs. And like, say there's one time, a few times, I go to this house and give an estimate, and I look at the house, and you like the house on the outside has a bunch of spider webs, or like
Right.
it's dirty and it has just mildew or whatever from the seasons, and like everywhere, every houses and locations are different with like moisture, like that buildup, whatever. I'll be like, hey, you should really get your house pressure washed before I come, and like just like that, like helping other businesses out will give you more opportunity to have them help you out as well. In the
Yeah.
same, it's in the same business, but different kind of, So you
No,
get
I get it.
two.
It's working. I love the business to business referral. So here's one thing I know about you, and it's probably why you and I clicked so much when we first met and we were talking. You're a very extroverted person. You have a lot of personality.
Thank you.
I have a funny feeling that your customers probably see the same person that's there cleaning their windows that I experienced when we were riding on a bus together in South Africa, or if we were back at the hotel just sitting kind of decompressing for the night and catching up and building our relationship. I have a funny feeling that you're that same way with customers. Do they see the super smile, the big personality, the optimistic, always happy, super positive Austin? And if they do you get feedback on that?
Yeah, I always, when it's their own home, right? I do a lot of interior and exterior, and when I'm in their house, it's their house. It's like, and when these new customers don't know you really well, I make sure that they feel like they're still at their home and comfortable. I always ask questions, or like I always make convos when they're home. Like I always just make convo and make it fun. Because it just makes it a lot easier for myself to get through the house, and have that customer feel comfortable with a stranger, or like a new window cleaner.
Well, you're just you. I mean, you're just
Yeah, I'm
you.
just myself.
And I have a feeling a lot of people's first impression of you is incredibly positive because you're just you. I think a lot of business owners don't feel like that they can be themselves. They feel like they have to be this buttoned up, super serious, super professional, person around their customers. And I don't see you putting on that aura. I see you just being you. And I can't imagine some of the positive feedback that you get about that right there.
Yeah, and like the biggest thing, like I get I with that I like, yeah, the windows. I'm here to clean the windows, but I'm here to talk and have fun doing it, because I love what I do. Sometimes, every job, it gets tiring sometimes, but at the end of the day, I just want to make that customer happy, because, they put trust in me coming to their house and doing work that that they can't do sometimes, because it's hard work.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that it's hard work cleaning windows, like like getting that grime off that window, getting the grime in the sills, the frames. It's hard work, and like when the customer sees that, and like and you have that connection with them, they're gonna have you back.
Yeah.
They're not gonna even think of double think. They're just gonna have you back, and
They
I
think
get a
of
lot. Go ahead.
Yeah, they think a friend is coming over. I mean, just because you're my window cleaner doesn't mean that, I can't have a friendly relationship with you. And I can't imagine that your customers don't see that.
Yeah, and I try like, and a lot of them I've had like, you feel like family to us, and I'm like, hey, then that tells me I did my job, right?
Well, we're winding up. I want to give you a ringing endorsement, and I hope that you'll share the heck out of this podcast on your social media.
Yeah.
I want to tell everybody that I got a chance to meet the young man. I didn't get a chance to meet the window cleaner. I got a chance to meet the young man, and I was thoroughly impressed. And my life is better because Austin is in it. And I was so happy when you said that you'd be available for this. I knew that it would be a good fit because there's just so many young people out there like you right now that they dream, Austin, of having their own business. And just something keeps holding them back, whether it's an internal fear, whether it's an insecurity, whether they lack the confidence. I want these podcasts out there kind of to say, it's what people say, but I want people to say about Greg, boy, if Greg can do a podcast, man, anybody could. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't try to. That's really important, and I can imagine. I know that you and I mentioned at the beginning of the podcast, we were on a mission trip, and that means that we share a faith. And I know that you wear your faith with you 24/7. It's part of your DNA, it's who you are. There's no doubt in my mind that even if a conversation doesn't come up with a customer, that they have some idea of your values and where you came from and what you believe in. And it's what attracted me to want to be a friend and it'll be what keeps us in common in relationship for a long time, brother.
Yes, yes, for sure. And thank you for having me on the podcast, and thank you for all the listeners out here. And yeah, thank you so much.
No, this was good. Listen, we're so happy that everybody joined us today on the not Ohio Business Spotlight, but the Minnesota Business Spotlight. So happy to have Austin with us today. I hope everybody will hit the subscribe button and pay attention to our next upcoming episodes. Austin, so thankful to have you here today. We really enjoyed having you, buddy. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good day, everybody.